Throwback Thursday with a little bit of Latin music. It was another bonkers night in the NHL and NBA playoffs last night. I hope you're taking in some of this stuff. I really do. I mean, what options do you have? Really, right? I mean, what are you watching at night? What are you watching? YouTube videos of old college football games? Documentaries about NASCAR? I mean, look, I'll be honest. If I'm not watching one of these compelling games or a baseball game that I care about, so it's not like I'm watching every NBA playoff game or every NHL playoff game. I'm watching the ones that I'm interested in. I'm interested in one of the series in the Eastern Conference in the NHL. I'm interested in one series in the Western Conference in the NHL. And I'm interested basically in one series in the NBA playoffs. So if I'm not watching those, and I'm interested in the baseball teams that I like, and I like about 3 or 4 different baseball teams, that I will watch their games. I will watch an A's game. I will watch the Yankees game every night. I'll watch a Braves game if I can get to it. I'll find a Braves game. But, of course, as I've said time and time again, I'm not paying on top of already paying. I'm not paying even more for the Braves, which sucks. And I end up following it. And then what I do is I watch it later, like 90 minutes after the game. It's posted, and I can watch the condensed game and watch it that way. But it really kind of – I hate that. But if one of my games isn't on, all right, I go to YouTube. I'm watching fishing shows. I'm totally honest with you. That's what I do. I go to YouTube and I watch fishing shows and news type stuff there at the YouTube. And I sneak in some old NFL stuff as well. I love watching some of the old NFL stuff, like the This Week in the NFL shows from the 70s or old games and old Super Bowls and stuff like that. I will watch some of that stuff. I love the Timeline, which is a show that's an NFL Network show that records and is on there. There are different shows like that that I will watch, and I get a kick out of those types of things. But in any event, it's now I'll be totally honest with you. I also got my wife's shows, right? And I got to watch. We've got shows that we watch together. And with my wife, I got to catch up on all the season finales of our shows. We got the One Chicago stuff. We got the NCISs. We got the FBIs. We got the Law and Orders, the Rookie, Will Trent. Those are the shows. And then her HGTV stuff. We got to watch a little bit of her HGTV stuff. It's only fair that I watch a little bit of stuff like that with her as well. We welcome those of you that are watching on the X and the Facebook, on the YouTube channel as well. You can check that out if you haven't yet. You can snag the video at my X feed as well. That is at Thom Abraham Show. That's at Thom Abraham Show. We welcome those listening on the apps of your radio stations and those listening in Nashville over the air on WNSR and in Winchester on WCDT and in Huntsville on our flagship station of WZZN. There's 6 signals in all for the show, over the air signals in all, but just one phone number. That's it. One phone number gets you in, and that's the 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977. You can text the show at any time, 7329-TA-SHOW. That's 732-982-7469. That is a tremendous way to communicate with us. You need to check out those big zone deals. We got great deals for all around the Tennessee Valley. And coming soon, we'll have big Nash deals as well for tremendous offers throughout Middle Tennessee. And I just search those 2 sites out onto Google. Get yourself an account, and then you'll get notified of deals through your email and so on food and golf and more, including right here at Corralejos, where you can get $50 worth of gift certificates right now for just $25. That's right, $50 worth of Corralejos for just $25. I just knocked down a chicken quesadilla. It's to die for. I mean, their chicken quesadilla, the shell that they use here on the chicken quesadilla, it's like a pastry. I'm telling you, it's like pastry. And I got my little granddaughter over here with me too, Fisher, and she just knocked down I don't know what it is. What was that thing called that you ate? Was it a burrito or something? Or I don't know what you had. I don't know what she had, but she had something. All right, so she's hanging out there with me as well. My granddaughter from my daughter Christy, so she's part Mexican and part Italian. Boy, does she have beautiful skin. We think about that. If you're part Mexican and part Italian, you're gonna have some pretty beautiful skin. But she's hanging out with Pappy today, and came out here with me to Corralejos. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll have some country hardball talk with Josh Caray of the Caray Broadcasting family. He is the voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas as well, and he's just a solid baseball man. The Braves, they snuck right up on 500, and then they dropped back 2 games under after dropping that one last night to the Reds. They had fallen behind. They battled back valiantly and were not able to get the victory against the Reds. They will go again with the Reds tonight at 6:05. And then next up for the Braves is the Pirates, and they should be able to win that series at least as well. The Pirates just fired their manager, Derek Sheldon. What a mess it is there when you think about it. With the Pirates, they have they got one of the best pitchers on the planet, and they're just not making it work because they're just not doing anything to support the guy. And it's going to be, and how long are they going to hang on? And just waste time with this dude. I mean, that's what sucks if you're a Pirate fan. This is a great, great baseball city. Pittsburgh is a tremendous sports town. I hate it because I'm a Browns fan. I hate the Steelers. I had an opportunity to go to Pittsburgh one time, and at the time I had an agent, I shared a guy that was a TV guy there in Pittsburgh. He and I shared the same agent. And my agent had lined up a gig for me in Pittsburgh. It's when I was in Florida, and he wanted me to go and interview for this job in Pittsburgh. And I said I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not doing it. He's like, "What are you talking about? This would be a bump in pay and everything." I said, "I'm not going there. I'm not doing it." I've turned down 3 opportunities in the past. One was in Pittsburgh. One was in Boston, and I love the Bruins, absolutely love the Bruins, but I'll never forget my agent told me, he said, you got to get $50,000 more for making the move, and then you got to get $50,000 more on top of that for going to Massachusetts. So right off the bat, you need to be making $100,000 more if you go to Massachusetts. All right, and I said, I'm not talking Red Sox. I'm not going there. I'm not going to go talk Red Sox. The Patriots, I'm neutral on. The Bruins, I love. The Celtics, I don't like. I don't hate the Celtics. I don't like the Celtics. And the Red Sox, I hate. So there's and the number one topic, it's Red Sox, Patriots, Red Sox, Celtics, Patriots, Bruins, Red Sox. That's what you talk about there. I said, I'm not going there. Yeah, but what if I can? I said, I'm not going there. And then the other one I turned down was Detroit. I had an opportunity to go to Detroit. And I told the guy, I said, what am I going to do? I got to shoot my way in and shoot my way out of the studio? So I'm not going to Detroit. I don't want any part of going to Detroit. I had kids at the time. I got to raise my kids in Detroit. Not going there. That hellhole. Forget about it. So did turn those opportunities down. But in any event, Pittsburgh is up next for the Braves. Then at the top of the one, Beau Estes is back from NBA TV and NBA.com. As we saw more history last night. We just saw more history last night in Boston as the New York Knicks, who were 0-4 against the Celtics in the regular season, and those games weren't even close. They came back from down 20 again to go up 2-0 against the defending champs. It's the first time in the history of the NBA that a team has come back from down 20 in back-to-back games. I mean, it road games in the playoffs. It's off the chain, man. It's absolutely off the chain. They're like the Villanova Knicks. They got 3 guys from Villanova. They're gritty. They just never give up. They're nowhere near as talented as Boston is. It's just ridiculous. And I had given up on the game. Be totally honest with you. I can't watch them get blown out. I had given up on the game. I'm like, oh, this isn't even close. This is not even close. I switched over. I was watching Leafs and Panthers. Had the Yankees and the Padres recording. I switched over and watched Leafs and Panthers. And then I only went back during intermission. And suddenly it's a 4-point game. I thought my YouTube TV screwed up and it was playing yesterday, the game 1. And I'm like, this is game 2 and it's a 4-point game? What the heck just happened? The Celtics were up 16 with 8.5 minutes to go in the game and missed their next 13 shots until the pretty boy Jason Tatum gave them the lead on a dunk with 18 seconds to go in the game. It was like, oh, here's a new idea. Why don't we take one to the rim? Here's something different. Look at this painted area. Maybe we'll go in there and try a shot. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then Jalen Brunson happened again. And he gets fouled, goes to the free throw line, coldly knocks down 2. Couple of seconds left in the game. The Knicks D'd up the final few seconds, and they get out of there with a win. Only 8 times in 117 opportunities. 8 times in 117 opportunities has a team come back from down 2-0 to win a conference semifinal. And even less when you lose the first 2 at home to come back and win. Now, there's a faction out there that is saying the Celtics will win the next 4 games. I mean, that's what some are saying. The Celtics are going to win the next 4 games. Could happen. Could happen. Could happen. Sounds funny to say, but the Knicks go home to Madison Square Garden, and the goal is a split. To go home and get a split. If they can split the 2 at home, they'll win the series. They'll win the series. And the Cavs had the same situation now with the Indiana Pacers. Same situation. Cavaliers, number 1 seed in the East. All they did was go into Indy and drop the first 2 games. The road teams were 6-0 in the second round before OKC slammed the Nuggets in the late game last night, 149-106. The Thunder had a playoff record 87 points in the first half. The Knicks and the Celtics game was 91-90 at the end of the game. OKC had 87 points in the first half in their game, against Denver. The Toronto Maple Leafs took a commanding 2-0 lead in their series with Florida as well in a 4-3 come-from-behind nail-biter. The last 2 minutes of that thing was intense as it gets in the sports world. Intense, unbelievable. I keep saying it. The most exciting 2 minutes in sports. Not the Kentucky Derby. The last 2 minutes of a hockey game, goalie pulled 1-goal game. All you got to do is watch it. Just go watch it. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Not even a 2-minute drill in football is like it. There's nothing like it. It's incredible. Go watch it and then tell me I'm lying. Go watch it and say, yeah, that was no big deal. Teams up 2-0 in the NHL playoffs win 86% of the series in the NHL. Dallas also won last night in Winnipeg to snag home ice in that series. Now, my guy on the other side of the glass is very excited about the fact that Toronto is up 2-0 and they win 86% of the series. Although, I think, and I may be making this up, I think Toronto a couple of years ago blew a 3-1 lead to the Bruins in the playoffs. I think that was the case, or a 3-0 lead or a 3-1 lead, something like that. I think. I may be just making that up. Listen, I got so much stuff in my gray matter now, I don't know. But he's back there playing the platters that matter and the stacks of wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air. Jumping Joe Hunk.
Do you know who I am?
No, who is this?
Who is this guy?
Who in the blue hell are you?
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I'm very important.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I don't like violence. I'm a businessman.
You want to boo me? Fine.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
You come at the Kings, you better not miss.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
Let me show for y'all. Got a damn good show.
I will not wear that anymore.
So, Joe, you have Toronto and Edmonton in the final. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I was actually just a second ago. I found my bracket that I had made as you were talking. I have Edmonton and Toronto with Toronto winning.
Wow. For the first time in 58 years, it would be for Toronto to win the Stanley Cup. That would be one heck of a story. And look, I say it, and people blow me off. They say, well, he's just a puckhead. You know, he's just one of them guys who play college hockey, and that's it. Stop me if I'm lying. The last 2 minutes, last night, 2.5 minutes, they pull a goalie, right? Florida pulls the goalie. The last 2 minutes in a 1-goal hockey game is there anything that is more? I mean, you hardly even breathe watching that.
Yeah, no, this is you texted me at like 8:30 and you were telling me what happened in the Knicks game.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I'm going, Braves were down 1 run in the 9th inning. They had just come back from being like down 4-0.
4-0. Yeah.
And then you also had the last 2 minutes of the Leafs game. I was like, there is no chance on earth I'm changing any television or cell phone or iPad that I have on a game for this because of how intense that is. And
well, I waited. That's why I didn't hit you when I hit you. That was a little bit after the Knicks game. I just thought it was amazing. The Knicks finished on I think it was a 21-4 run to finish the game. But that was over. You know what I mean? So I did what so I jumped back over to the hockey game, and I had the hockey game kind of on pause. So there was about 7 minutes. When I jumped back over, there was about 7 minutes to go in the game. But I can't believe how intense that was going down the stretch.
The game was the NHL playoffs was so good that I have my office set up where, because I literally play video games every night, but I have my television set in front of me. That's the reason why I always tell you one television. That's the one that I have on it. And I had it set on the hockey game. Well, my one of my daughters couldn't get to sleep, and so we had to help. I went to help my wife get the other daughter to sleep. I had it on my cell phone. I'm like, there's nothing that is getting in the way of me being able to watch this game with the Leafs because it was so incredibly intense the entire time. And it also may have been a bad decision because my daughter loves hockey. So now that actually hurt the cause in trying to get her to sleep. But she watched it with me and she got into it just as much as I did. And it was because it was so intense. And if you're somebody like me, that literally the only reason I'm cheering for the Leafs are because the fact that I picked them in my bracket. But I have like anxiety every single time that they go back on D. Like, I'm just like, please don't.
They're a fun team to watch. I mean, I know you got it because of the bracket, but this is, you could become a fan. I could see a person becoming a fan. Austin Matthews is amazing. The goaltender has played great. He's making stops on shots he's not even seeing and stuff. They're not an annoying team to watch, to be honest with you.
I do have an emotional connection. My stepmother is actually from Toronto. So, the one conversation that she and I can talk about the most are the Blue Jays and the Leafs. Right. So, and I've always told her, look, at some point in time, I want to go to Toronto on a weekend where the Blue Jays and the Leafs are both playing so that I can go to a game. So there is a little bit of an emotional connection to it, but at the same time, I really just want to be right in this bracket. That's really it. Yeah. But no, I could absolutely, you talk about your teams that, I have my other team and this is my team and this is my West Coast team. This could be I could totally see me going for Toronto
but
outside of Nashville.
If somebody were to ask you, that's what I was going to say. If somebody were to say, okay, who's your NHL team? It's the Preds. Right? I mean, that would have to be the Preds would be your NHL team. And I love the Preds as well. I just grew up with the Bruins. I mean, so you don't abandon your team just because you end up in a city or in an area or in a region. It's just like I love the Rochester Americans because I grew up in Rochester. They were AHL team. They were my minor league team. But I love the Havoc. You know what I mean? It's hard not to love the Havoc. Great logo, great uniforms, great color palette, everything about the Havoc. Love the Havoc. Love the Florida Everblades when I was down there in Southwest Florida. But my team will always be the Boston Bruins. And that's why I would go out of my way to not go. When the Bruins would play in Nashville, I wouldn't go to the game. They'd be like, well, why don't you go to this game? And I was doing pregame, and we had pregame show on WNSR as well, and all that kind of stuff there for Preds games. And I wouldn't go to a Bruins-Preds game because when I go to a Preds game, I want to pull for the Preds. Yeah, I want to pull for the Preds. I want to take in the game, be part of the crowd and everything else because I pull for the Preds in every other game that they ever play against anybody. I'd be pulling for the Preds. But if the Bruins are there, I got to pull for the Bruins. And I don't want to be that guy pulling for the Bruins in Nashville. You know what I mean? So I just wouldn't go to that game.
I've had a couple of times where I've went to some Cubs Braves games like that, where I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, well, I like both of these teams, and I'm just kind of all right, well, which stuff do I wear? Like, do I wear the Cubs gear? Do I wear the Braves gear? Like, what do I do in this situation? So I've been in those shoes.
Yeah, I went to a Yankees Braves game and 2 years ago when the Yankees were circling the drain, and the Braves beat the Yankees like 11-1. 11-1. I had outstanding seats thanks to Brandon. They had great seats. I was like 7 rows back from the on-deck circle on the Yankees dugout side. So I got to literally see the full size the massive Aaron Judge, the greatest right-hand hitter in the history of baseball now, probably. And here I am with these great seats, and the Yankees are getting curb stomped. And that's why I'm looking forward to next week going to a Braves game. We're going to pull for the Braves, and last year I went to a Braves game, pull for the Braves because I want to pull for the Braves. When I go to a Braves game, I want to pull for the Braves. But if they're playing the Yankees, I'm pulling for the Yankees, and that was miserable. So yeah, I go out of my way to avoid those kind of scenarios for sure. But it was a great night last night. There was no doubt about it. It was a great night of sports altogether. And what we just learned in this segment of the show was that Joe plays video games every single night.
Oh, every single night. No, it is.
Really?
It's how I relax. Really? It is. Go in.
Is there a game or like multiple games or?
It really kind of depends on the mood, but the majority of the time right now it is Japanese baseball. That is what I play every single night. I get at least
now, are you
one
playing
game
with other people or are you just doing yourself?
No, just a game. I start a season off with my team, which is Hanshin, and I go through a season and I play at least one game a night. And so after that, depending on how I feel, I may move over to MLB The Show. I never play like Madden or any of those because I'm so analytical with all that, with focusing on routes and everything, that it doesn't actually calm me down. It makes me more anxious. So I try to play games that just kind of relax me throughough that time. So
do you know any of these players? I mean, I guess you're getting to know them, but through the game and everything. But it's not like doing the MLB. At least when Austin Riley is up or when.
Yeah. Well, no, I watch the games now. See, that's the cool thing also about with the way that they in Japan it's scheduled is that when I wake up in the morning, I normally get up at about 5 a.m. Their games are going on in Japan. So I have the ability to turn on one of their games and I can watch their games.
On what? What do you watch?
They have an app. See, now all the different teams, unlike Major League Baseball, Japanese baseball, they all have individual television rights. So it is one in which where Hanshin has their own app that they have. And so for like $9 a month, I get all the Hanshin games. So I just open up the app. They've got a live feed and I have the ability to watch it there. So that's what I do in the mornings while I'm getting ready and getting the kids ready. I just have
Is that your team? Is that your Japanese baseball team?
That was the one
Hanshin?
I picked. Yeah, Hanshin Tigers. True. The only reason I like the stadium. That was 1,000%.
Do they play outside?
Yes, they play outside, an all dirt infield.
Oh, like really? A
all
softball
dirt.
infield?
It's an all dirt infield. There's only a couple of teams in Japan that still have that. Majority of the teams have went to more of the artificial surface. You have the Carp, which is in Yokohama. They actually have like a major league infield where it's like your traditional grass infield type thing. But the thing is that so many people will only think of Japanese baseball with like the Tokyo
indoors.
Dome.
Yeah, that's all I think. When
Dome.
you say Japanese baseball, to me, I think indoors on carpet, like the old Metrodome in Minnesota, which I can't stand. I can't stand baseball with the cutouts, with the cutouts at the bases and stuff. And I'm like, that's not, I can't, I hated that era of Major League Baseball. And I didn't know that. I didn't know if anybody in the Japanese baseball played on grass.
Oh yeah. There are a few that play on grass. There's only like 12 or 13 teams in the entire league. But the cool thing is, and this is the part that kind of annoys me now that I've learned more about it, go look at the baseball stadium that Shohei Ohtani's old team, the Fighters, play in.
Yeah.
It is 10 times better than the Tokyo Dome.
Is it like the Foo Fighters?
No. It's not the Foo Fighters, but it is, I forget their entire name of that, what they're called, but they're named the Fighters. Their stadium looks like a Viking ship. And it is is one of the coolest stadiums baseball wise. And now every time that America plays in Japan for a baseball game, I'm like, why are you going to the Tokyo Dome when there's so many other cooler stadiums you can go to?
Well, are all the teams based around Tokyo or are they like all over the country? It's not that it's a big country.
Yeah. Well, there's the Central League because they're all central to the city of Tokyo. And then you have the Pacific League, which are the teams that are more spread out throughout the country of Japan. So all the Central League teams are very close to the Tokyo area. And that's how that league or that division was created. And all the Pacific teams are all the ones that are outside of it. Like the one that Valentine went to coach, the Marines, whenever he went over to Japan after leaving America. That is a team that's part of the Pacific League when, as a matter of fact, they actually played Hanshin for the championship the year that Valentine won that championship in Japan. So that's kind of how they've created this league around the country.
this stadium where the Foo Fighters play is amazing.
I'm telling you, right?
Gosh, how cool is this?
Seriously.
Stadium? And that's got to be natural grass.
It's artificial.
That's synthetic.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that is synthetic.
See that, and that's where
it looks like the shot from the outfield that I'm looking for. It looks like. Are you sure it's synthetic?
Yeah.
Even the outfield. I wonder if the outfield's grass and the infield's synthetic. It looks like it is it's amazing looking stadium. So it is a dome. It's a retractable dome.
Yep, retractable roof. It is the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. That's the name of the team. They play in the field that they play at. It looks so incredibly cool. Like I genuinely sit here and go, why do you go to play the Tokyo Dome when you could go play at this stadium or even where the Oryx Buffaloes play? Because
see the scoreboard in that stadium. The scoreboard is massive. It looks like it's bigger than the scoreboard at the AT&T Stadium.
It is absolutely like stunning with the way.
And where is this compared to Tokyo?
This is actually like North Japan, if I remember correctly. It is like
it's not around.
No, it's not around Tokyo. No.
Pacific League.
Yeah, it is actually. I'm pulling up the map right now so that I can make sure I say it right. Yeah, is like the most northern baseball team that I think that is in Japan right now. Is where they
stadium.
Yeah,
I don't know why we're not building retractable. We're getting all these new domes and new stadiums in the NFL. Chicago wants a new stadium, Cleveland wants a new stadium, and they're all domes, and it's so disturbing to me. These great northern football cities that are going to have. Now, thankfully, the Buffalo Bills are playing outdoors. They're going to be outdoors, and they're also going to be on natural turf. So the Buffalo Bills built their new stadium, which is 3/4 of the way done now, is going to be a natural surface outdoor stadium with all of the fans covered. The entirety of the fans will be covered, but the stadium itself is open, and there is no dome facility for it. And I understand that they want to get a Super Bowl in Nashville. And I understand they want to get a Super Bowl in Cleveland and Chicago and all of these things, and they need to have a dome. But why can't they be retractables? And why can't they be natural grass retractables? That's what I don't understand.
So first, you are right. It is natural grass. They did swap to natural grass.
Thank you.
So
I know natural grass when I see it.
Oh no, yeah, and I wanted to look it up because originally they did have artificial, but it is natural grass. Second off, the biggest thing that cities are doing when it comes to the domes is like the amount that it costs to go from just a dome stadium to a retractable roof and how much it adds to the overall cost of building it. And that's the reason why
you're already spending billions on these stadiums. You might as well go ahead and put a retractable dome on it.
I honestly want to say that it may be anywhere between $500 million and $1 billion more that it costs to get to change that. I want to say that's how much it is because that's what Nashville wanted. But instead, they go with kind of the route that they're going with now with that has the mixture of the Minnesota look as well as SoFi.
Yeah, I just football's meant to be played outside, not in a gym. And in Nashville, where you've got great weather, most of the year, there's no reason why that wasn't a retractable dome. I mean, it should have been a retractable dome in Indianapolis. They got a retractable dome in Houston, even though they never retract it. They got one in Arizona. There's no reason why Nashville didn't have a retractable, in my opinion, but that's just me. All right, we get a break in here. When we come back, let's talk some baseball with Josh Caray next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White, his team takes great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Beau Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Beau knows land.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the award-winning service department at Woody Anderson Ford. They're there for your routine checkups. Keep your Ford or other brand in perfect working order. And if you got a bigger problem, they got expert service technicians that are going to quickly diagnose it and use state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. It's Woody Anderson Ford. They got a great mobile service as well. They'll come out to you and do things like an oil change or tire rotation or parts replacement. And don't forget the quick lane service department as well. Woody Anderson Ford.
We're talking baseball. Blazewski, Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque. Especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
And welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Corralejos. Glad you are with us today. And joining us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline from the Caray Broadcasting family and voice of the Trash Pandas, Josh Caray. Josh, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
I am fantastic. And, man, what a glorious time of year. You know, we always talk about, obviously, football. I mean, that's the 900-pound gorilla in America, whether it's college football, the NFL football. But with that notwithstanding, between baseball being in full swing now and these NHL and NBA playoffs and the excitement that's going on there, I mean, this is a great time of year for sports. It really is. It's a sneaky good time of year for sports, I think.
Yeah, it really is. And it's especially, it really, at least in my opinion, it kind of starts around March when you get March Madness and all that goes on, and spring training starts up and college baseball. And then it just kind of carries all the way until pretty much the end of June, because you got the NBA finals, the NHL finals, the College World Series is going on. Baseball gets off into full swing. And then, you get that nice little, I guess, break for July and most of August before football starts up. But it really is a lot of fun. I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of the NBA stuff, but man, oh man, all the top seeds are getting knocked around a little bit, especially the Celtics, and that's always fun to watch.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch the Celtics get knocked around as well. I say that as a Knicks fan, but that's a whole another topic for the next hour of the show, to be honest with you. All right, so baseball, let's get into this a little bit. Now, are you guys tonight at Toyota Field giving away soccer scarves? This has got to be one of the coolest giveaways. I don't know if they've done this one before, but I've seen pictures of this scarf, and that's kind of a pretty cool thing, man.
Yeah, well, we got that idea from our social media manager, Lucas Dolangowski, who, by the way, is going to be getting a new job in a couple weeks. He's going to be the social media head for the U.S. men's soccer team. And he's always been a huge soccer fan, and he got this idea just watching the Premier League. I mean, it's one of those typical things in the UK where it's, brutally cold during the winter. Fans will wear that type of stuff to represent their team. So we're going to do the same thing. Obviously, Huntsville is now a soccer town with Huntsville FC. So it's really a fun giveaway and something that we thought fits appropriately well with North Alabama.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Team's still kind of struggling a little bit, knocking her around, but it seems like starting to play a little bit better.
A little bit. The guys, one thing I've come to really appreciate about these guys is how young they are compared to the rest of the league.
Right.
You get a lot of prospects, but the deal is when you have a lot of prospects, they tend to be younger, right? They tend to be 20, 21, 22 years old. Benzer Guzman is 21. Nelson Rada is 19. Christian Moore is 23, but at this time last year, he was at the University of Tennessee. George Clausen is 22. So you got a lot of young guys who are facing 24, 25, 26-year-olds. And now it might not sound like that big of a deal, but it really is. It's like a college game of freshmen and sophomores against juniors and seniors. And so these guys, they're taking it on the chin a little bit, but they're growing, they're learning, they're getting better. And hopefully that'll yield to something a lot better when we get to the second half of the season.
Our friends in Nashville with the Nashville Sounds, they're having a pretty good run of it in the International League's Western Division at 20-15 right now, sitting a little bit behind Memphis. And, it's always been an interesting dynamic between Huntsville and Nashville, AA city and a AAA city. And the fact that in the past there were times where, it was the Oakland A's, AA and AAA, you'd be able to see them in both towns. The Milwaukee Brewers, AA, AAA, and then off to Milwaukee they would go, and it was kind of neat. There are so many fans in the region that saw guys play, the Prince Fielders and the Bronze and those kind of guys that played in Huntsville and played in Nashville before they ended up in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and it's I can see why they did that, because it's such an easy track going from AA to AAA. It's an hour and a half drive. And what I can tell a lot of Nashville fans is they are very fortunate that the Brewers have such a good farm system. I've been able to keep tabs on Biloxi a little bit, which is now the Brewers AA, and they consistently turn out great talent year after year. And they make their way to Nashville and ultimately to Milwaukee, but they're going to be seeing some big time prospects go through there over the next few years. And it's because Milwaukee, not being a major market, they really have to build through their farm system. And as a result, they're able to bring through a lot of prospects every season, and they tend to turn out very good teams as well.
When I was a kid growing up in Rochester, New York, of course, we had the Rochester Red Wings, and they were the class of AAA, Baltimore Orioles affiliate. for 41 years. And we saw all those guys. As a kid, I saw Bobby Grich and Don Baylor and all those guys that came through, and there was the Oriole way, back then, and that extended down to Rochester. Now they're with the Nationals. Not so good. 9-25, worst record in all of the International League this year. Their run differentials minus 91. I mean, it's just absolutely, they're the worst team in minor league baseball right now, it feels like. But, people would always ask, why is it the International League? Like, what's international about the International League? Well, back when the International League was started, stop me if I'm lying, they had a team in Montreal and they had a team in Havana, Cuba, right? Back in the 50s, way back in the day. And, of course, the International League started back in the late 20s, early 30s. But there was a team in Havana, Cuba, and a team in Montreal. So it truly was the International League.
Well, yeah, if you remember Montreal, they were the International League when Jackie Robinson got there.
Right.
With the Dodgers. So, yeah, that was very well known. And, of course, the Expos later moved there. And so that made Montreal a major league city. And we all know what happened in Cuba. But, yeah, I mean, they wanted to grow the game in places where they felt baseball could grow. And it certainly did that in Canada for a time. It certainly is a huge, huge deal down in Cuba. And I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere down the line, baseball tries something similar. Not in Cuba, and maybe not in the Dominican, but there have been talks about Mexico perhaps, and maybe trying to get back to Montreal and things like that. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. It was truly an international league at some point, and it wouldn't surprise me if they try it again.
The other thing that won't surprise me is if Nashville ends up being a major league city, and not in a way distant future as well. I mean, the majors have talked about going to 32. 32 would be, it would even things out. I think at that point in time, we might see all kinds of drastic type realignment. We might even, the concept of American League, National League is just so shot now. I know I've watched more National League games this year than American League games as a Yankee fan, because the Yankees have played, I believe, of their first 12 series of the year, they've played 9 against National League teams. They've played everybody from the National League, it seems like. And they'll play the Braves a little bit later on this summer. But if you go to 32, and I've been pushing for years, like what is St. Pete doing? I mean, what are they doing down there at Tampa Bay? It's a joke. They got a good team. Move those folks to Nashville and watch that thing take off. But I got to believe that in the not too distant, I don't even want to say in our lifetimes, in the not too distant future, I would not be surprised one bit to see Nashville as a major league city.
Yeah, if I were a betting man, I would say it would be by the end of the decade. It just makes sense because it's growing. Nashville is, and it just makes sense for Major League Baseball to move there when you already have the NFL and the NHL as well. So I think that's coming. I think the big question is, what is it going to look like? Will it be an expansion team or will it be a relocated team? I think what's interesting is if they're going to 32, that means you got to put a team out west. If you wind up relocating a team, does Nashville get that relocated team, or does someone like a Charlotte get them? I think ideally, if you're Major League Baseball, you'd like to get into both Nashville and Charlotte because both are, southern cities. It's a little cheaper there. Both cities are growing like tumbleweed. And if you do that, you then have to find someone out west as well. So it's coming. It's just going to be interesting to see who it's going to be and what's it going to look like. I got to figure the Athletics are going to get things figured out in Vegas. And when it comes to Nashville, they'll have to find out where to build it. But they have the room to do it, and they certainly have the population to support it. And we'll just see what happens over these next few years.
Speaking of the Athletics, your young nephew is out there on that radio crew, and they very quietly have kind of snuck up on the Seattle Mariners. Blew a game yesterday. They led 5-0, a day game yesterday out there playing in that Sacramento in the AAA stadium out there. They led 5-0, blew that game and lost it. But still, 2 games over 500 right now, 3 games back of Seattle. They could have been tied or even have taken the lead in the AL West. But it's really amazing what the Athletics have been able to do, and in a West where nobody is really running away and hiding yet.
Well, and the thing about them is if there was ever a team that could make the excuse of not being competitive, it's the Athletics.
Right.
But they signed a couple of free agents. They built their farm system. and they're a real young and fun team to watch. And you know what? They've proven that you can be in the midst of a relocation and still compete. Now, I don't know what's going to happen here over the next 4 months. I don't know if they will stay competitive long term, at least this season. But they have at the very least, they've built a foundation to being very good over the next 3 to 5 years until they can get to Vegas and putting a quality product on the field. I've been really impressed. I know they were, their ownership group took a lot of hits over the way they handled last season in Oakland. And so I'm sure that pressured them a little bit. But it just goes to show you that you don't have to spend $400 million to be competitive, but you got to invest in your farm system. You got to be willing to help guys grow, and you got to be willing to be competitive. And as long as you do that, you got a shot of having a quality product on the field, and that's what they've done.
The schedule has changed. Josh Caray with us here. The schedule has changed a little bit for the Braves, and they're creeping towards 500. We're within a game. Dropped that one last night. Have another one tonight, though, with Cincinnati, and so an opportunity to get within one. And then the Pirates are up next. Pirates just fired their manager, Derek Sheldon, and it's a rotten shame what's going on in Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh is a great sports town. It's a great baseball town. And when the Pirates are good, Pittsburgh is a great, great baseball city. And they've got one of the top pitchers in all of Major League Baseball in Paul Skeens. And it just seems like, you wonder how long that kid's going to sit there and rot if they don't start spending some money and building around, Paul Skeens. But, the Braves, by the time they get done with the weekend, could be back above 500 and setting sail on getting to where we thought they could be.
Yeah, and we always thought the Braves would get there ultimately. Even with the rough start, you had to remember they were playing two of the best teams in baseball in the Dodgers and the Padres. And then the Dodgers came to town last week, took 2 of 3. And, if we've learned anything about Atlanta, it's that they're good, but they're not great. I mean, they got some things to work on, especially if they want to compete come October. But when it comes to the Pirates, they're a great example of, what are we doing here? I mean, if you want to keep a quality product in town, you've got to invest in it. And if I'm Paul Skeens, I'm not waiting around a whole lot longer. I'm going to wait until my rookie deal is up, and then I'm leaving town.
Yeah.
But it is a real shame because the fans have nothing to cheer for. And you expect them to show up and spend their hard-earned dollar to watch a bad product. And it's just not acceptable, especially when you mention the history they've had there. It's a good baseball town, and they don't provide them with anything. But, the Braves will get a shot at them this upcoming weekend, and it should be at least 2 wins for the Braves. And like you said, they get over that 500 mark, maybe they can work themselves into a bit of a groove.
And finally, what a great pitching matchup we saw last night. Dylan Cease and Max Fried. Neither one of these guys get the decision, but Fried, another game, does not give up any earned runs. And, close your ears, Braves fan. You're not going to want to hear this, but 6 weeks into the season, Max Fried is the Cy Young Award winner. If they do a 6-week Cy Young Award, dude is 6-0. His ERA is 1.05. I had to double check that because I said 1.05. No, that must have been just that game. No, that's his ERA, 1.05. Fried is off to an incredible start with the Yankees, and they need it, with the 2 hits they took, to their number 1 and number 2 guys in terms of Garrett Cole and Luis Hill, who was the Rookie of the Year last year.
Yeah, and it's really not a surprise. This is a guy who's pitched in big games before. He's won a World Series ring. He's the type of guy that you needed if you're going to go into free agency, if you're the Yankees. You can't just call up a guy from a mid-level market or a small market that hasn't really competed for anything. You got to get a guy who knows how to win, and he certainly knows how to do that. And he's in the prime of his career. And, between he and Aaron Judge, they're kind of keeping things together there in the Bronx. And they're going to be competitive come October just because they have so much invested in so many talented players. And it's because they went all in going after a guy like a Max Fried, who should add to what is already a pretty good rotation come October.
Yeah. Aaron Judge in a little bit of a mini slump. His average is down to 400 now, and even 400 after the last couple of games. Josh Caray.
I'll tell you what, Thom.
Yeah.
Thom, give him about 3 more years. He's already in a discussion about being the greatest right-handed hitter of all time, and I can see why. Give him a few more years.
Yeah, Jason Stark, what a great article earlier this week about that. All right. Appreciate you as always. Great stuff. Josh Carey has been our guest. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Tom. Have a good one.
All right, let's get a break. We will come back and wrap up hour number 1 next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
P.J. Fried over a couple of home runs as the Reds snap a 4-game losing streak with a 4-3 win over the Braves in Atlanta yesterday. Today, Spencer Schwalmenbach on the mound for the Braves, $1.70 favorite against Nick Lodolo with the Reds plus 142, 7.5 over the total. Coming up in the NASCAR Cup Series this week, Kyle Larson, the 4-1 favorite to win the Advent Health 400 at the Kansas Speedway. Chevrolet, the plus 110 favorite manufacturer. Toyota plus 180, Ford plus 275. Corey Heim, the plus 150 favorite to win Saturday's Truck Series race at Kansas, the Heart of Healthcare 200. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Thom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Thom Abraham here for Valley Equipment Rental. You know, if you're a contractor installing fences, you need Valley Equipment Rental for augers of all sizes. And if you need a forklift to get those shingles up high on a roof, Valley Equipment has 10K lifts that reach to 56 feet. Valley also has tow-behind lifts that have a working height of 35 to 55 feet as well for power washing those 2-story homes or doing whatever else you need to do. Lifts, forklifts, tow-behind lifts, 35 feet and up. They have your lift at Valley Equipment Rental. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental. All right, coming up in hour number 2, going to get things started up the top with Beau Estes, NBA TV, NBA.com. Talk about the amazing playoff games that have been taken off in a history that is being made right now in the playoffs. We'll get that in there. Also, in hour number 2, we'll talk about Nick Saban and the committee that Donald Trump wants Nick Saban to co-chair. Some Big Ten and SEC football news as well. I got a couple of questions about Shedeur Sanders and George Pickens. So we can get all of that in hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Knicks head home in the driver's seat of their second-round NBA playoff series against the defending champs. They're up 2-0 on the Celtics after shaking off a 20-point deficit in Boston for the second consecutive game. New York's now 5-0 on the road this postseason, has won all 5 games by 3 points or less, with Jalen Brunson playing a big role. He had 9 points in the fourth quarter last night, including the game-winning free throws with 20 seconds left. When the Warriors take on the Timberwolves in Game 2 tonight, it'll mark the first time since the 2018 Western Conference semis they won't have Steph Curry on the floor. He's sidelined at least the next 3 games with a mild hamstring strain. Golden State has a 1-0 series lead. Capitals and Hurricanes kick off the second-round Stanley Cup playoff doubleheader, followed by Golden Knights and Oilers. Vegas and Washington both down 1-0.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Here's 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom ma. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you. So settle in and get your bark on. Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho. Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Bill McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get it off my hand. I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back, hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show here on a Throwback Thursday in the doghouse as we come to you from Corralejos Mexican Grill. I mean, just an absolute fantastic place. If it didn't exist, you'd have to invent it. All right, there's all kinds of history going on. I don't know what is more historic and what is more impossible to even wrap my head around. The Knicks went to Boston and came out of there with a 2-0 lead, or we just elected an American Pope. I mean, you got one thing that's never happened in ever, and coming back from down 20 back-to-back games, and then you got something that hasn't happened in 2000. Well, the country's only 250 years old, so in the entirety of the America, there's never been an American Pope, and now we got a dude from Chicago is the Pope. So I don't know which of those is more unlikely to happen, if you had it on your bingo card or not, but somehow they both have happened. So joining us now to talk about one, if not the other, on a Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline from NBA TV, NBA.com, Beau Estes. Beau, welcome in. How are you?
Stunned on both counts, Tom. Absolutely stunned, man. My wife is a Catholic, and we were up there watching that and just couldn't believe the whole thing. But, I mean, I guess if Chicago gave us Michael Jordan, they can give us the Pope. I'm happy about it.
Well, let's just tie it all together. Who's leading the Knicks? These boys from Villanova. You know what I'm just saying? You know what I mean? Catholic University in Villanova. And now the Pope is American. So, who knows what's going on here, I guess. And, man, the Villanova Knicks getting it done. Is it too trite to say, because, the Celtics destroyed the Knicks in the regular season, but is it too trite to say that there's something to that? These Villanova Knicks, these gritty work boot type guys versus the, penny loafer Boston Celtics who want to just shoot shots from the outside and don't realize that you're allowed to go in there where they got the green floor and take shots from there and, and battle a little bit. That's okay too.
It's crazy to me how much the Boston Celtics are ruining all of the old adages about the value of championship experience, because they are absolutely collapsing at the end of these games. Over the 2 games, they've shot 26% in the fourth quarter on 2-pointers, 15% on 3-pointers, 20% overall. They scored 16 points in game 1 in the fourth quarter, 17 points in game 2 in the fourth quarter. They are collapsing. And what these Knicks remind me of, you mentioned the Big East. They remind me of those 80s Big East teams, those Georgetown teams, those St. John's teams. They're a throwback. And these aren't the high draft picks, and particularly the Villanova guys that, Jason Tatum's a high draft pick, Jaylen Brown's a high draft pick, Kristaps Porzingis is a high draft pick. These are the lunch-pail dudes that are just sticking it right in the throat of the Celtics, and Boston can't seem to handle the pressure down the stretch. That's the weirdest part. They do well in the first 3 quarters, and then they just collapse.
Where they are shooting well is under the basket, right? There were 11 of 11 on dunks and layups yesterday. Maybe you want to do a little bit more of that. And I'm not here to tell the Celtics on how they should play. I mean, I think that Joe Mazzulla and those guys know a little more than I know. But I'm just saying, if you can't throw it in the ocean from the 3-point line, maybe you ought to get down there in the gritty area and do more of that, because you're 11 for 11. inside that little half circle thing there down underneath the basket. Maybe you ought to take more shots from down there.
It's stunning to watch a team that is the defending champions in the best league in the world with some of the best players alive fail to execute. And more importantly, what you said, Tom, recognize what the heck you're talking about. Just go down low. You had a 20-point lead. Twos are fine. You don't need a barrage of threes, and they were missing them one after the other. And in some cases, after they start missing a couple, they're missing open threes.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum had one in the corner in the fourth where he had 5 seconds to just take his time and look at it. It wasn't close. So mentally, something's going on with the Celtics, and the Knicks have got them. Now, I think it's in terms of raw talent, the Celtics are better. They're significantly better. But I don't know. Mentally, something has to be going on in their heads. And some of this, Coach Mazzulla, he's a championship coach, but this is on him to get them out of that. And if you remember that last play, Tom, they didn't call a timeout. They raced up the court. They still had a timeout. When the play broke down with 5 seconds left, he still could have called the timeout. He didn't do it, and all they got was a turnover. Mikal Bridges steals it from Jason Tatum, who was double, maybe triple teamed and had no options. I mean, the Knicks just know how to play down the stretch. They know how to exert pressure and force. And one other thing, and I'd love to get your opinion on this because I talked to a lot of people about this. These playoffs are more physical than I've seen the NBA in a long time. I mean, it is really physical out there.
No, it is, and it's like they're just letting them play the officiating. They're just letting a different kind of basketball take place than what took place, I thought, during the regular season. I mean, and I think that's a big part of it is that because the Knicks are a more physical team altogether.
Yeah.
But if you're going to run up and down the court like you do during the regular season, Celtics are going to blow you out every time because they're so much more talented. But if you want to get in a street fight, this is what's going on. All you got to do is look at the two games. I mean, OKC had 87 points OKC had 87 points at halftime. This was a 91-90 game. They had 87 at the half. So, if this is what we're going to see, I mean, it was just amazing to see the way it is played. And I just don't know how many times Jalen Brunson is going to continue to come up so clutch. He savors that thing, and everybody knows he's going to get it. They don't collapse on him. They let him go one-on-one. It's just almost it's shocking to see that they don't do what the Knicks did to Tatum. They don't jump him and make somebody else beat you.
Well, yeah, and you saw it last night late in the game where Jalen Brunson got fouled late. Al Horford gives him like an elbow jumper. He's just backing off. This is the most, maybe the most clutch guy in the league right now. Maybe. I'm not saying he's the best. He's certainly not, but maybe the most clutch guy, and you just let him beat you. I don't understand. Something is going on with the Knicks where they get razzled and they can't come out of it. And
the Celtics, you mean? Yeah, something happens like that with the Celtics. Not the Knicks.
Yeah, it's a 20-point lead in the third quarter, and they fell apart again. I've never seen this. Well, and you know why I've never seen this? Because it's never happened before. It's never happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
nobody has ever come back from nobody's ever had two 20-point comebacks on the road. The numbers are staggering. When a team takes a 2-0 lead in this situation, I think it's was 8 out of 117 times. 8 out of 117 times does the team that is down 2-0 come back and win. And we've got the 1 and the 2 seed, both Cleveland and Boston, in this situation. Now, on the other hand, it's not too hard. When somebody says Boston will win the next 4, it's easy to say, yeah, okay. I mean, Vegas has them a 5.5-point favorite in game 3. You could say, okay. And the weirdest thing is I uttered these words, and these are words I've never uttered 26 years on the radio. New York goes home looking to split. That's what they're doing. They go home. All New York needs to do is split the 2 games at home. They're going home looking for a split at home, because if they get the split at home, they got 3 shots to win it. They win it. That's all. As a fan, that's all I'm saying. Just split those 2 games. Don't get beat in both. How nuts is that?
Great. I mean, I also think if you take Game 3, they're dead. Their hearts are dead. They're out of it. I feel like they quit.
Yeah.
I mean, but there was an old Ron White joke where his grandfather saw him when he was a kid, and he said, "That boy's got a whole lot of quit in him." I could see the Celtics having a whole lot of quit in them if they go down 3-0 in this series. I mean, this is a team that's already collapsed twice at home, and they're the champ. They just seem like they're willing to go out, and maybe there is something about these Knicks that it's just a throwback, and it's the combination of that. I mean, you hit on it earlier. It's the combination of that and the amount of physical play the NBA is allowing in these playoffs that is making the difference. It lines up perfectly for the Knicks. I went to the Clippers Nuggets Game 6, and I saw Nikola Jokic get absolutely hammered all the time. It was almost like watching Shaq. You remember when he was with the Lakers around 2000. He would just get hammered and hammered and hammered, and nothing was called. Jokic shot 2 free throws all game in Game 6. It's just incredibly physical out there right now, and I don't know why all of a sudden this has taken hold, but it has. There's no denying that it has. So it's fun to watch for me as a guy who's been around the league so long, but it really is something.
The Knicks opened this series as a plus 535 to win the series. Okay, so they were plus 530, which means that if you put $1 on them, you're getting $5.50 back. Now they are minus 105. Now the Celtics are still minus 115. So Vegas still gives the Celtics a 53.5% chance to win the series and to do something that's only happened 6 or 7% of the time in history. And I haven't seen the numbers on the other series because the Cavs are in the same exact situation. I almost feel like the Cavs have a little bit better shot of coming back right now than the Celtics do. It just feels that way right now because, again, if the Knicks get one of these two, and you're right, Game 3 is massive because if the Celtics easily win Game 3, now the Knicks sphincter starts to tighten up. Boy, we better win because we lose everything that we did in Boston is gone, and now we're going to Game 6 and 7, and then it's over. That type of thing.
Yeah, I do agree with that. The one thing I'll say for Cleveland is they had 2 All-Stars out in Game 2 in Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. They also were missing DeAndre Hunter, so they were absolutely crushed by injuries in Game 2. There was not a lot they could do. Donovan Mitchell goes for 48 points. It wasn't enough. The health of those 3 players is going to determine a lot in this series because just like Boston, Cleveland is the better team than Indiana, but health is dictating a lot in that series where I think that the Knicks just guts and ability to be clutch in the fourth quarter dictates a lot against the Celtics. I mean, the Kristaps Porzingis mystery illness has something to do with it, but I don't know that it's that much. I just think it's more about the Knicks and who they are and what they do. But for Cleveland, they've got to get healthy to really have a shot here.
Well, speaking of getting healthy, Beau Estes with us here, NBA TV, NBA.com. Speaking of getting healthy, the Warriors, yes, they're up 1-0 in that series, but boy, they lose Steph, and you wonder, what happens now with the Timberwolves. They did steal that one in Minnesota. They go again tonight on TNT in that Game 2. Can they hold it together long enough to get Steph back in there and try to hang on and get past the Timberwolves? Because it feels like, the Nuggets, they took their shot in Game 1, got that victory over OKC, but the way OKC looked last night, it feels like OKC, can walk through the rest of this Western Conference final and get rested up for the final.
Yeah, I think if I'm being real honest, OKC is clearly better than everybody else.
Everybody.
But they're a 68-win team. I think I probably told you this. There have been 68-win teams in NBA history. 4 of those teams have gone on to win the title. You're very likely to win the title if you are a 68-win team. And Oklahoma City showed how good they are last night. I think for Golden State, Steph is going to be out at minimum 3 games. If they can win one of the next 3 without Steph Curry, that puts him at a 2-2 mark when he potentially could return. Now, I saw a clip of him today talking on the sideline, and he did not look encouraged at all. He said, we just don't know how long this is going to be.
Right.
So it's 3 is sort of the minimum. And, Tom, I don't know if you've had a hamstring injury. I have.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that takes a minute to really have confidence in it. It's not just health, it's confidence in it to really work. So we'll see. Jimmy Butler going back against Minnesota, there's a little bit of energy there. But he's going to have to be playoff Jimmy that you saw in Miami to really make this work for the Golden State Warriors, because Steph's been their guy for the last 15 years, and he's not going to be there for most of this series. So Minnesota has a real shot.
A final thought, by the way, on Boston. You mentioned Joe Mazzulla. Can he survive losing this series? I mean, if that were to happen, I mean, I know they were champions last year. Can he survive losing this series?
I feel like winning a championship in the past used to sort of give you a safe 3 or 4 years. If you lose this series while losing 2 20-point leads in the fourth quarter at home, there's going to be some serious questions. There really are. The NBA now is much more cutthroat, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean they'll cut ties with you in a hurry. They don't care than it used to be. We'll see if Boston's ownership wants to spend all the money that it's going to take to keep this team together. But if they blow this series, and imagine if they blow another lead in this series, there's going to be consequences to be paid. Now Boston is a team, maybe the team, that could best push Oklahoma City, which is interesting, because if you get them out of the way, the Thunder really have to be thinking they've got the championship right there in front of them. But yeah, I think Mazzulla could be in trouble if they blow this. It's not just that they lose it, Tom. It's how they lose it, I think that's important to note.
If the Knicks and the Pacers play for the Eastern Conference Final, I mean, they don't let Reggie Miller be on the game, right? I mean, we can't have Reggie Miller doing it unless we have Clyde Frazier in there. Yeah.
They do have him on. They'll just add Spike Lee to the broadcast.
Yeah, that's what would have to do something like that, or get Clyde in there. By the way, today, if you want to draw a line, I just want to draw a line in the sand, and you say, when does a kid from Rochester, New York, a 9-year-old from Rochester, New York, become a New York Knicks fan, and why? It's today, 55 years ago today, that Clyde Frazier banged in 36 points and had 17 assists as the Knicks. Today is the day. The Knicks won Game 7 against the Lakers in 1970. It was 55 years ago today, when I was 9 years old. I guess I was 9 years old when that happened. And it was at that moment, the Knicks' first championship in the NBA. They won again in 73. It was at that moment that I became a Knicks fan as a little kid watching those games.
How long has it been? You're going to get nuts if they get to the final.
55 years ago. Oh, it's crazy.
Holy cow. I mean, I love what they put together. And if they win a title here, this team will be celebrated forever, because they represent, I think you and I were texting, they represent that city. So,
oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, absolute lunch pail dudes. It would be fascinating to see what sort of heroes they'll be in New York if they win the championship. And it really, really, really can happen.
And by the way, sports eye candy game. I have a thing I call sports eye candy games. Bruins and the Canadians, 49ers and the Cowboys, Packers and the Bears. There are certain things that just look, the Yankees, Red Sox, they just look right. The Knicks and the Celtics wearing Knicks and Celtics uniforms, and not those clown uniforms with black and green, all the different colors. If they need to stay in this gear. I was surprised that the Celtics came out in green, to be honest with you. I don't know why they flip-flopped, for Game 2, but it just something's all right in the world when you see that, when you look out there and you see Knicks and Celtics on the parquet or at the Garden. It's it's glorious stuff, and it's going to be getting huge, massive numbers, I'm sure.
Yeah, my bosses at TNT will be thrilled if we go out that way.
Yeah,
they're going out with Knicks and Celtics. That's going to be monster ratings. And look, the NBA is going to be thrilled as well, because it bodes well for the future. And the Knicks are now, whether they win this series, the next series, the championship or not, they're a part of the NBA's future. They're a major player as a team, and that's good for the league going forward.
So they go out, right? The basketball goes out. but the NASCAR comes back. And I always think of that with you because every time I pull your name up on my contacts, it still says NASCAR underneath it. You were my NASCAR guy before you were my NBA guy. You were my NASCAR guy.
Oh, God,
I didn't see your name. I saw all of the different talent that is going to be working NASCAR and TNT. And let me just say this: that broadcast booth with Adam Alexander and Junior and Steve Letarte, that's as good as it gets. I mean, that to me is a really, really good booth, much better than what NBC was giving us. I'll be totally honest with you. And I'm looking forward to seeing what TNT does with NASCAR. It's going to be good. But you didn't get any piece of that at all? No .com, no pre-race, none of that stuff?
It's because I'm so busy with the NBA, then the WNBA, that I don't have time to jump off. My contract is basically with them. But I will say this, Turner's history with NASCAR is pretty tremendous. Basically, the lead guy over at NASCAR in terms of broadcasting is a guy named Matt Roper, who's an Alabama graduate.
Right.
He's an old Turner Sports guy. And so he's always close with the Turner Sports crew. If you listen closely at the end of the games, they'll say Jeff Randolph is the producer of this NBA game. Jeff is a NASCAR nut, grew up that way. He was my producer on NASCAR. He's going to be our lead producer for NASCAR going forward. So he jumps right off the NBA and right into NASCAR. I mean, the connections between Turner and NASCAR are tremendous. So I think they will do a great job. And it's, look, we're the only Southern major broadcast player out there from Atlanta. Yeah. So I just think there's a connection. We draw from young people in Atlanta. We had a guy named Matt Stricker who was a 16-year-old high school intern who's now one of the lead guys in NASCAR. So, yeah, the connections are huge. We'll do a great job with it.
Yeah, and of course, NBC, getting back into the NBA. And Joe, give me a little bit of it. Give me a little bit of it because NBC's playing big time on the nostalgia. Joe, give me a little round ball rock back there. I got to be honest with you. John Tesh gave them the go-ahead and told them they could they could use the round ball rock. It's a great theme. There we go. There we go. A little bit. Good stuff. You got to admit, Beau, that's good stuff. I don't know though. I don't know about bringing the dead guy back on AI. I don't understand why they're using the dead guy, Fagan. I mean, what I always, it's funny. I went back and I listened to some of that old stuff. I thought that was Bob Costas. I didn't even know that was the Fagan guy. To me, it sounds like Bob Costas. It's Jim Fagan. It sounds like Bob Costas. Did they have a lot of talent over there? Did they have anybody else that's alive that could have done that? They got to have Fagan do it?
I'll give you a little scoop. My agent's talking to him.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, like when I saw that there was a dead guy, I was like, maybe I should be doing this. I mean, I'm the voice for the NBA around the world. I'm the voice for the EuroLeague. Let me have some of that action. So that's a conversation we're going to have.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad because first of all, I'm not a fan of AI replacing us living people. That's not good. They did that. NBC did this with Al Michaels on the Olympics, and he's alive. And they did AI Al Michaels. Why didn't they just hire real Al Michaels? I didn't understand why they did this, but they got permission from Fagan's family to do an AI voice of him. And look, I'm pulling for you. If you can't beat out a dead guy for a job, what are we doing? That's
exactly. My career's in a real bad state if I can't beat out the dead guy.
we gotta be able to. Oh my gosh! Next thing you know, Rush Limbaugh will be doing his show again. I wonder what Rush Limbaugh thinks about President. Exactly. Goodness gracious Almighty! All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Good stuff as always.
Okay, keep that blood pressure level, Tom. It's going to be a fun ride.
All right, man. Appreciate you. All I wanted was 6 games. That's all I wanted was 6. Well, now I want them to win the series, but all I wanted was 6 games. I mean, come on. They're using a dead guy for the promos, Joe. I mean, come on. They brought back Jim Fagan was the voice of all the promos and the opens and everything else for the NBA on NBC. And he died in 2017. And they went and they talked to his family, and they got permission to AI his voice somehow. I mean, the NBC hasn't had the NBA since 2002, right? So they had it for, like 32 years or 22 years from 1990 to 2002. And Jim Fagan was their guy, the voice. Then they brought the dead guy back to do the promos and stuff.
Isn't that like, though, like, aren't you using a bunch of dead guys for like 95% of your music?
It's different. Music lives on. I'm not having them do new stuff. It would be like me bringing back, let's see, give me one of my dead guys. I mean, I got dead guys doing music on the show.
Skinnerd.
Well, they're not all dead.
The important one has been dead for a very long time.
All right. So like if I had him do something new, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we got new music from Skinnerd in the plane crash guys. I mean, we don't do that. You know, goodness gracious almighty. It's not right. All right, we get a break. When we come back, phone lines go open. 256-576-4977. Get you into the show. Got some football topics I need to get to right after this on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
PJ Friedel with a couple of home runs, adds a red snap, a 4-game losing streak with a 4-3 win over the Braves in Atlanta yesterday. Today, Spencer Schwammenbach on the mound for the Braves, $1.70 favorite against Nick Lodolo with the Reds plus 142, 7.5 over the total. Coming up in the NASCAR Cup Series this week, Kyle Larson, the 4-1 favorite to win the Advent Health 400 at the Kansas Speedway. Chevrolet, the plus 110 favorite. Manufacturer, Toyota, plus 180. Ford, plus 275. Corey Heim, the plus 150 favorite to win Saturday's Truck Series race at Kansas, the Heart of Healthcare 200. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, Check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by my friends at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know, this spring, it's time to bloom into savings at Owen Home Appliance Center. They got a new shipment of scratch and dent items at the Somerville location, like a side-by-side refrigerator with water and ice at just $6.99. You got to head down to the highly interactive location in Lacey Springs as well and check that out. It is amazing. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's all right in the name.
You got to change your evil ways, baby.
Stop talking about. Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Glad that you are with us today here at Corralejos. All right, phone lines are open. If you want to jump on board, you can do it. 256-576-4977. We'll get you into the show. A couple of notes that I wanted to slide in here before I get to the Nick Saban story and the Trump committee and the possibility of Nick Saban co-chairing a committee to look into the whole NIL/transfer aspect of college football. There's a lot. We're seeing a lot, and Joe, you probably have seen this. We're seeing a lot of articles talking about Tom Brady and Shedeur Sanders, and the fact that Tom Brady was the mentor to Shedeur Sanders. And Shedeur Sanders, you guys joked about him wearing number 12 the other day, and that he's been assigned number 12, but he wanted to wear number 12 for a number of reasons, one of which is Tom Brady. And Tom Brady saying that he reached out to Shedeur Sanders and after he was drafted and told him, use this as motivation. I was pick 199 and you're pick, 144, and you should use this to get you fired up. Tom Brady said on Logan Paul's podcast, I know him very well. And I said, dude, whatever happens, wherever you go, that's your first day. Day 2 matters more than the draft. I was 199, so who can speak to it more than me? And so on. So I just have one question. If Tom Brady feels that way about Shedeur Sanders, why didn't the Raiders draft him? Why did the Raiders draft him? He's an owner of the Raiders. He's involved now in personnel decisions. Supposedly, his hands are on the personnel decisions. I'm not saying that they should have drafted him in the first round, when they took the Genty kid. Why didn't they take him in the second, the third, the fourth? I mean, how many times did the Raiders pass on Shedeur Sanders? Brady said, what's it matter other than some overhyped day, the draft, where a lot of people are selling stories and saying, all right, this is the big day. This is the draft. Brady says it's an important day. It's fun. I love watching it and seeing it. But I've also been there on day 2 when they have to actually show up and learn a playbook, meaning not day 2 of the draft, day 2 meaning when you actually, go to a team. To be a part of a locker room, there's a lot of growth that needs to happen. He's talking about in general, with draft picks. As a quarterback, you have to be a leader, he said. And this is how he says, this is how Sanders can make an impact with the Browns. Do I care about my teammates? Do I care about what we're trying to accomplish? Those are rules number 1 and 2. I would say that to every quarterback I ever come across. If they're listening, do that, because that's what's endearing to your teammates. Why didn't you draft him? Why are you telling you got Geno Smith, which is the perfect Geno Smith, not a veteran Shedeur Sanders, a not real mobile guy who, can get the ball around and deliver the ball around and manage the game. And I mean, it would seem like Shedeur Sanders would have been the perfect complement to Geno Smith. And all I'm seeing is Tom Brady videos mentoring a young Shedeur Sanders and Tom Brady talking to Dion about Shedeur Sanders. And they're in Vegas and all this other stuff. So, Joe, why didn't he draft him? Why is he telling everybody else about how great and what a great value this is and everything else? Why didn't he draft him?
My question would be is if there is an NFL rule.
About what?
About the owner of an NFL team training a potential NFL draftee and then drafting him.
No.
Because that would be tampering.
No, because they work out players and stuff before the draft. You know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just, you know. And then in the category of, one man's trash is another man's treasure, we get the George Pickens story. So again, it's just one of these types of stories. The Cowboy fan is like, we finally got a solid number 2. We got our guy. We get George Pickens. We stole him and everything else. On the other side, it was Mike Tomlin. Think about it. Mike Tomlin is one of the most patient guys. It was Mike Tomlin who actually was the one that pulled the trigger on George Pickens. It was Tomlin that said, you know what? It's time to get this kid out of here. He's a poison. They were never going to have those two diva wide receivers in the same building. That's why I was kind of surprised they made the move that they made. It was never going to happen. And it was Tomlin was the one that wanted him out of there. And tell me the last Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver that left Pittsburgh and went on and had success. I mean, think about it. Your Chiefs have had Juju Schuster twice, right? I mean, he was a big deal at Pittsburgh, everything else, and he has really done nothing. Who else? Martavius Bryant was there. Even Antonio Brown, as great as Antonio Brown was, what did he do after he left Pittsburgh? He was a petulant child. Took his uniform off and walked off the field. I mean, if Mike Tomlin gives up on you, what does that tell you? And really what this is about is Jerry Jones. Because Jerry Jones loves these reclamation projects. He loves these guys that feel indebted to him forever. Oh, let's bring in this kid, and I just saved your career, and he loves these reclamation projects. And that's what he's got. That's what he's got in this case. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense. We need a new name, as the Big Ten and the SEC are approaching $1 billion in revenue for one season. We need to stop calling this the Power Four. We need to come up with a new name for the SEC and the Big Ten. The Big Ten reported $928 million in revenue in 2023-24, according to their tax returns. The SEC had $840 million. Now, before you say, well, wait a minute, that one had more than the other people-wise and so on. Well, this is before the conference expanded. All right, so this is before, both these conferences has swelled to now 16 and SEC and 18 in the Big Ten, which I still find it odd. I know that 16 is a good number for scheduling and so on and so forth, especially if you're playing an 8-game schedule. But I'm having a hard time thinking that the SEC is stopping at 16 as long as the 10 has 18. It just seems symmetrical that if the 10 has 18, the SEC is going to have 18. And I'm not 100% sure that the 10 is done either. I'm not 100% sure that we're not going to get to a point in time in a not too distant future where there will be 20 teams in both conferences. And in both conferences will have, basically two massive divisions that have 10 each in it, within the division or within the conference, which would really take us all the way back to the days of when the conferences had 8 to 10 teams. And now you'd have, basically two conferences of teams in the Big Ten and two conferences of teams in the SEC. But the gap, the money difference between these schools and the rest of college football is just out of control, and it's going to become even more. It's going to grow even more in 2026 when the new playoff deal starts. Because beginning in 2026, the Big Ten and the SEC are getting 58% of the playoff revenue, which is going to further separate them from the rest of college football. I mean, think about that for a moment. The Big Ten and the SEC, they're going to take 50. They're going to take more than half of the playoff revenue, and it's just going to go to those two conferences. So the ACC and whatever's left of that, the Big 12, which is really the American with a couple of guys, a couple of legit D1A teams in it, and the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is trying to, become a thing again. The Pac-12, which is the Pac-2 right now, just signed a deal with the CW to have their games. The Oregon State and Washington State games, the two teams that are left right now in the Pac-12, are going to play on the CW, and they're each going to get one game on ESPN and one game on Paramount Plus. I mean, it's like, okay, what am I going to watch? Yellowstone or Tulsa King or the Washington State game on Paramount Plus. So they just did that deal as a one-year deal, kind of testing the waters. They've taken 5 teams out of the Mountain West that'll join them in 2026. There's still one team short of being a conference. You can't even be a conference, considered a conference for the playoffs, for the college football playoff. You're not even considered a conference until you have 8 teams. So they're still looking for an 8th team. I mean, we're not going to say Power 5 just because there's something that's called the Pac-12. They're the glorified Mountain West, and the Big 12 is the glorified All-American Conference, or the American Athletic Conference, I should say. And the conference that's kind of like in the middle is the ACC. And now Clemson and Notre Dame, they signed this deal. They're going to play 12 times. They're going to have a 12-year contract. They're going to play every year, Clemson and Notre Dame. Well, okay, but that's going to be one of Notre Dame's 5 games that they play against ACC teams. So now Notre Dame's going to play Clemson and 4 other ACC teams because Notre Dame really doesn't want any part of rotating in with some of those other teams that are in the ACC. I think it's another clue of what could be happening down the road, with the ACC. But none of those conferences come anywhere close to what the Big Ten and the SEC have revenue-wise. The Big Ten's per school distribution last year, not this past season, but the year before that, was between $61 and $63 million per school. The SEC's per school distribution was $52 million. And Oklahoma and Texas, who were in the league, their first year in the league was at 23-24 season, they earned $27 million each. They got like a smaller cut. They got like a half a cut when they first came into the league. And the reason that the Big Ten was ahead of the SEC was because the Big Ten's new contract with Fox and CBS, that kicked in, whereas the SEC's new contract hasn't kicked in yet. Now the SEC's contract will kick in. So it's Power 2, Big 2. I don't know what you call them. I don't know what you call them. And at some point in time, I think they both swell to 20. And those 40 teams will be something different than the rest of college football. It just feels like that it would be that way, that's where we're going to go with it. All right, we got a break. When we return, so what is all this chatter about Nick Saban, President Trump, this committee to study college football? What exactly does it mean? And can somebody tell me if Jared Curtis is the number 1 recruit quarterback coming out for the 2026 class? The kid that just committed from Nashville Christian, that just committed to Georgia, or is he the number 4 quarterback? Because in an article in The Athletic, they referred to him as the number 1 according to 24/7's composite rankings. Then you go to 24/7's composite rankings, and he's not number 1. He's number 4. So I don't know which it is. I mean, I know he's a good quarterback, but they mentioned exactly the same things I mentioned. He's from a small Christian school in Nashville that plays against other small Christian schools. Just because they're private doesn't mean they're playing Ensworth and Brentwood Academy and people like that. It's a good get, and I think this one will stick for Georgia. Georgia has a history of bringing in, or having these commits, these big-time commits for quarterbacks, and then they end up someplace else, like Justin Fields or Dominic Raiola or Jaden Rashada. They glom out of these guys, and a lot of them don't stick. I think this kid sticks. This Jared Curtis kid sticks. But in the same article, it refers to him as the number 1 quarterback coming into 2026. They refer to the composite, and then when you go to the composite rankings, he's not number 1. It's confusing. It's just like this whole thing with Shannon Terry and On3 buying Rivals. Why are we going to have both? It's like Cabela's, when Bass Pro Shops bought Cabela's and they kept Cabela's name at Bass Pro Shops, and now when you drive at the one in Huntsville, it just says Bass Pro Shops on it now. It's a Bass Pro Shops. What are you going to do with On3 and Rivals? They do the same thing. I mean, maybe On3 is more locked into transfer portal and, that type of thing, NIL, and they find that niche, and Rivals is more a recruiting deal. I don't know. But what's the point of having both? If you're Shannon Terry, do you kill On3 or do you kill Rivals? To me, Rivals is the bigger name. I think Rivals absorbs On3. And by the way, Yahoo Sports is still involved in that whole thing. Yahoo's a partner in that. So it's not like he's just like Yahoo's getting out of the Rivals business. Yahoo is still going to be a partner in On3 and Rivals. But it's all convoluted. So if you want to answer that question and you know the answer, you go ahead and give us a shout for that. We'll get a break. We'll come back. Final segment is next from Corralejos right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show with Joe Hunk on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at SensaGreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flo, think fun for everyone.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, where thousands of area residents have received world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. You know, if you've had orthopedic problems and are considering professional care, TOC really is the only logical choice. Whether you have a work-related injury or got sidelined playing the sport you love, you need the best care, the best physicians, the best facility to get you back in the game. And I think you'll agree that the Orthopedic Center is right for you. Stay in the game with TOC. And welcome back. Thom Abraham Show, final segment of today's show. We told you about the American Pope. Somebody posted on Facebook, NFL memes posted on Facebook, the city of Chicago produced a Pope before it produced a quarterback who could throw for 4,000 yards. So there you go on that one. There's a number of kind of funny things that have been coming out about that. We got an American Pope. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you know, obviously there's over 1 billion Catholics, you know, in the country. I don't practice as a Catholic anymore. I referred to the fact that I was elected a deacon in my church back a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what's more unlikely, me being elected a deacon or an American being elected a pope, one of those two things. But I haven't practiced as a Catholic for some 30 years or so since I personally left the Catholic Church. After going to Catholic grammar school, Catholic high school, Catholic college, you know, I'm a good old-fashioned Southern Baptist in these days. But in any event, there's been some fun comments that have been made about Pope Leo. I think he's going to be called Pope Leo the American. No, maybe not. I think it's Pope Leo the 30th or something like that, or I don't know. I think the original Pope was a Leo the Great. It was like, you know, he made himself Pope. He elected himself Pope back in like 500 or something like. I may be just making that up. I don't know. I think I heard that in a Bible study or something. I think the first Pope was a Pope Leo. I think Leo the Great was the first Pope. So this is like Leo the American, is I think what it is. Well, speaking of popes, is Nick Saban on the verge of becoming the Pope of college football? I don't know, but I do know this. President Trump is, talking about putting together a committee to look into the whole situation of NIL and transfer portal and everything else in college sports. And he has asked, it looks like, Nick Saban to co-chair this committee along with, I just said the guy that's the Texas Tech booster. What's going to happen here is this, like everything else, anytime you insert the name Trump into it, it's just going to fall heavily on political lines. Whether you agree or disagree that something is wrong with college football, and to me, again, it's more the transfer portal than it is NIL. If you associate President Trump to it, immediately everybody squares off. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You could be the staunchest Democrat, and you know that something was wrong with football. And as soon as they say Trump, you're going to come out and be against anything that they're trying to do. And there's an article, Blake Toppmeyer wrote an article for USA Today, which is considered pretty much usually a fairly lefty rag, saying that Nick Saban thinks college football should be fixed and the federal government should become involved in the fixing. Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama, Republican, shares that belief and warns that the sport is in danger. In danger of what exactly? Also, how should the federal government be involved in fixing college football's problems in so much as they exist? And goodness me, why should President Donald Trump insert himself into the situation? I've heard a few coherent solutions from Saban or Tuberville. Mostly I hear complaints from two coaches pining for the good old days when coaches enjoyed omnipotence and ruled like kings, while athletes enjoyed fewer freedoms and less compensation. See, again, this is a political take. All right, that is a political take because you're sticking your head in the sand if you don't think something's wrong with the system. If you're sticking your head in the sand, and I'll tell you this, from the very, very beginning of this, that's what's going to happen. Nick Saban is going to get painted as a guy that he wants to make $10 million a year, but he doesn't want to let any of the players make any money, and he wants to rule with an iron fist. When nothing could be further from the truth. The truth is, when all of this was first coming out, and when he made that comment about Bryce Young having $1 million in NIL deals and he hadn't played yet in college football and yada, 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 he's always said the players should be able to make money on their name, image, and likeness. That's something totally different than free transfer portal and something totally different than boosters just paying for play. We'll give you this money. You come to our school. That is not what it was supposed to be. And the way the federal government gets involved is simply setting up the guardrails. And all the president is doing is saying, let's have a committee to study this and come up with some ideas. But again, if you're anti-Trump, you're going to be anti-anything. If he said the sky is blue, you would say, no, it's not. It's a different color. All right, that's going to do it for us. Have a great day, everybody.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Knicks head home in the driver's seat of their second-round NBA playoff series against the defending champs. They're up 2-0 on the Celtics after shaking off a 20-point deficit in Boston for the second consecutive